Hi everyone, this is Kishore from ARCHIVELOG.info. In this session, what we are going to see is we are going to see how to install Oracle RAC, Oracle RAC 2-node RAC, basically 19C. So you can have your host machine as Windows 7, 8, or Linux, your operating system, your main host. You can create two guests like for Linux 7X and Linux 7X. Of another one with 9 GB RAM should be enough for our 19C installation. So you can download the softwares from this particular location, either from support or from the below link. You can download them. In 19 you only get 19.3. The VM version I'm using is 6.1. So ensure that you either install either on Windows or Linux, you install the same version. So what we are going to do is we are going to create virtual machines. So after installing the Oracle VM, you have to say file new and give the name as ERP ERP RAC 1 and allocate the RAM as 9 GB. So you can select dynamically allocated for the operating system. You can allocate around 60 GB for the operating system because in future if you want to upgrade also 60 GB should be good. This is for the operating system and the grid and the Oracle Home RAC Oracle Home installation. So once that is completed, once that is completed, what you do, you go to settings, and we need to create three adapters, one for the public, one for the private, and one for the Ethernet. The first one will be bridged, the second will be private, and the third will be bridged. So just ensure that the three adapters are enabled. Yeah, the second one should be private and the third one should be public for Ethernet. The first will be a static IP. So in case if you want to download some packages, that is the reason why we are having third. We are having on public IP. So we don't keep any static IP here. So you can download the Oracle Enterprise Linux software from this particular location, either 7.x, 7.9, anything should be fine. But ensure that it is more than 7 because for the Oracle database 19C, we need at least Oracle 7 and above. So it's an ISO file you can copy, and what you do is you go to storage and click this particular DVD icon and select your ISO file. You select it and you say OK and you start it. So once you start it, you can install the operating system by following all these particular screenshots. You can change the host name and the disk location how you want. If you want, you can take an automatic selection also, or if you want to, you can select the security policies of software selections and see that ensure that you select this particular softwares for our one is the development tools, one is the compatible libraries, and one is server with GUI. Network and host name, in our case the host name what we are given is ERP RAC ARCHIVELOG.info for the first node, and for the second one ERP RAC 2.ARCHIVELOG.info, and you begin the installation. And for the first one for the public IP we are giving 192.168.1.25. You can go to IP4 settings and do the changes. And for the second one, for the private, you give 192.168.0 port 100, and for the third one you leave it leave it like an automatic. So let it be automatic so that you can access Ethernet for downloading some packages and all. And then you begin the installation. So you can proceed with the installation. But in my case, what I have is I'm using a readily available OVA file which has all the packages. In case if you want, you can always shoot admin@ARCHIVELOG.info. It has all the packages required. I just have to import it. Let me show you how to import it. Yeah, in order to import, what you do, you say application or applications file, import appliance. So you click this thing, and here I have my OVA file which has all the packages specifically for this. And what I wanted to, where I want to install is, I created one directory. So in this location I want to store the node 1 details. Right. So now what I do, I just say remaining check verify everything. So this is the machine folder, and I just say, and also I will change this one to the RAM to okay, maybe later on I'll import it. So let me import it first. Yeah, the import in progress. So let me pause this session. So once the import is completed, if in case if you want to change the host name, you can change it. You can edit the host file and see that you enter the public, private, and the virtual IP details, and these are the scan IPs. This is the best way and easy way to have local 3 entries for scan IPs. Few people do DNS and all that, but in our home purpose we don't need so much complex things. So you can just create 3. These are all the 3 public public IPs by which I given 3 IPs. So then we need to install the guest operating system. So and also we need to install all these packages required. In my case I don't require because I already have the VM, and also we need to install a package. You can download it from this particular location. Basically this is RSM. This is basically for ASM. So with this what I do, the import is in progress, but once the import is completed, we can see, yeah, so the import is completed. We will see in the next session what we are going to do. So let me end up the session. So in the first step I've given you how to download the software and how to install the operating system. Hi everyone. In the previous session we have installed the operating system. So this is our the name what I've given as ERP RAC. So what first thing what you can do is you can go to properties and increase the RAM to 9 GB, and also the network. As I told you, we need 3 networks. First is the bridged network, second one is internet network, and third one is the bridged network. Okay. So and we have already installed operating system, so yeah, so everything is done. So we can start this with this artist. So this operating system will have all the packages already available. I also provided the steps how to install. You can also proceed like in case if you want to use my OVA file, you can always request me at admin@archdba.info, and I can provide it. It started, so why not just log in. And let's verify the IP address. Totally we'll have 3 IPs. It's 25. So this is the IP, and in case if you want to change the host name, see once you import it, maybe if you want to change the host name, this is the commands. So why not we connect from our Windows machine and start verifying them, right? And as I told you, you can, yeah, so this is the public, this is the private, this is the virtual IP, and this is for the scan IP, right? So totally we have 3 IPs, and the public is 125 and the private is 0 to 25, and this one is for internet in case if you want to access any packages. So totally we have 3 IPs here. So you also need to install the guest operating system, which is already been done, and also these packages we have already completed them. So yeah, this package has already been installed. In case you have to download it, you can download this from particular the site, and all these changes are already completed. Verify that, and I just for a sake I'll just verify them. Yeah, SUSE Linux should be permissive, and so this should have been already taken care, right? We need to have one entry here, And NTP we are not configuring an NTP, so we would just stop it NTP so that our Oracle cluster time synchronization will be used for the time sync of both of the particular nodes. So you need to change these values in sysctl.config file. In case if you already use the yum utility, so that will take care of them, so you don't need them. Otherwise you need you also need these values. If you just you just check, if not you make the changes. And we have to create these users. So in my case it's already there. If you want to create it, you can you can create the groups and also two users, so Oracle and the DBA grid. In most of the cases they would have been created when you run this particular package. In case it is not created, you can follow this, and also you can create all these particular directories and packages, and also change the password grid to some password which you remember and password of Oracle. And then just verify that these two packages are available. Yes, these two packages are available. So now what we need to do is we need to configure the configure this. How do you do this? You just run this particular command, grid and ASM admin. Yes. So we do all these changes on the first node, and then we what we do, we will just do a clone. So make an entry in the grid directory for the grid environment file like this. Change the, so now what we are going to do is we'll not have 19.3 but we'll have 19.0 because the versions may change, so we'll keep it consistent. Right. Similarly for Oracle also we can have one environment file. So here also we'll change it. Right. So in case if you want to take a backup, you can, I provided the steps. You can export the appliance and then you can import the appliance, or you can clone anything which works out for you. So you can either clone or you can take an export of this, and also you can import the or you can import the appliance. So I leave it to you. So in my case what I'm going to do is I'm going to do, first of all I'm going to shut it down and create a clone of it, which I'm going to show you. For exporting the appliance, what we need to do is first we need to shut it down. We need to shut it down. After shut it down, what you can do, you need to export the appliance. It's a very good backup, you can share with anyone also. So what you do, you just say export appliance. So this is the one what I want to export. So you can give the path wherever you want to export. So what I can do, I'll go to my host machine. I can select a thing called a backup. So here suppose I want to save this. Right, I say next, and we'll just say we'll just select the thing, and that is what those same steps I have given in my thing. And you just say next and you export. So now the export of appliance will be completed. So once this is completed, this can be used like a backup for you, or if you want to share with your friends, you can always share it. In the next session, what we are going to do is we are going to add some disks. I'm going to show you how to add the disks. So I'm going to show you how to add the disks. So just to update, in the previous session what you have seen is we have imported, I gave you the steps how to import the install the Linux. Either you can install or you can import the appliance. Then we have seen that make the entries or host file, ASM library files, So now also we have taken the export of the appliance. So with that I will then end the session. In the next session we are going to see how to add the ASM disk groups. So in this session what I am going to show you is how to add the ASM disk group. So what we are going to do is we are going to create two disks, one with 12 GB and the second one is for 100 GB. Based on your database size. If it is very smaller you can give 5 GB also. The first hard disk will store the OCR, the voting disk. Let me show you how to do that. So what you have to do is so we can add only the storage when the system is down. For that what you need to do is on the VM, file, go to virtual manager, right? Go to this virtual manager and we are going to add two disks. So how do you do that? You say create disk, next, and it has to be fixed size. Okay, just remember it has to be fixed size. So you give the name. So what I'll do, I'm going to store in our favorite location, the storage location. So here I'll give it the name. So something relevant, you can give OCR1 and 12 GB. It has to be fixed size. Remember, it has to be fixed size. Create it. It will take for a while. And similarly, you create another disk. So just say create. Say next. Oh, just let me see whether I given the fixed size or not. It should normally take a longer time. Okay, why not? I create one more fixed. Next. Any name you can give, just something like voting disks also will be there. So give it 12 GB because normally it takes a little bit more time than what I expect. Oops, created. Okay, so we can remove the old one. Right, so now we create another one which is 100 GB. Same thing, fixed size. Next. Okay, so here for the data, so I'm giving 100 GB. Yeah, it's up to you. And you just say create. Oh, now we'll make them shareable. Both of the disk, what I'll do, will make it shareable. So data, I make it shareable and apply. Similarly, you take the other one and what you do, you make it shareable and you apply. Now you close it. So now what you need to do is we need to attach those things to this. So you go to your operating system, you go and you can add them. But let me go through my documentation. If at all I say I go to virtual manager, I created the disks 12 GB, 100 GB. Oh, okay. Before we can add, what you do, we'll just clone the virtual machine for the node 2 and then we can add to both of the nodes. How do you clone it? So for that, what you have to go is you have to just go to this thing, the first node, and you clone and select the correct appropriate location. Okay, give the name and you say next. So our second node is getting created. So let's wait for a few minutes. So the clone is completed. Now what you need to do is we need to add the disks. So for that, what you do, go to settings, storage, and add the disks. So search that, OCR VDI, and choose the first one. Similarly, the data, choose, right, say OK. Similarly, attach the same thing for the second node. Also go to settings, go to storage, and follow the same process. say OK. So that's it, we have done with that. Okay, I'm just seeing, comparing that I've done everything. Repeat on the node 1, node 2, and now we will start the node 2 and we'll change the host name because it is ERP RAC 1, right? We need to change the host name and all the network things. So why not we do that? So for that, what I need to do, I need to start this node 2. Let the node 1 be in a, it is already stopped, so let it be in the same location. So let me pause the session. The second system is started. So first is the host name, what we need to change it. So in order to change the host name, you have to run this command. That's it. It will change the host name, and now when you reconnect, it will show as the host name is changed. So the next one is we need to change the IP addresses. For that, we have to go to application system, settings. Yeah, so here this one will make it 26 and say apply, and the second one we'll change it to 101 and apply, and the third one we'll just leave it as it is. Don't need to change anything. It has to be automatic, so it is already automatic. So what we do, we'll just close it and restart the network. So just see that you are able to ping. Yes. So just let us see whether we have followed all the steps. Yeah, change the network settings. Yeah, so with this we'll we'll end this session, and next one, in the next session we will configure the ASM disk creation. Thank you for watching. Hi everyone, in the previous session I showed you how to configure the node 2. Now what we can do, even we can start the node 1 and node 2 because both are having different IPs. So then what we are going to do is we'll start creating the ASM disk creation. So we have, if you remember, we have two disks, one for OCR and voting disk, and other disk is for storing our data. So one is 12 GB we created, one is 100 GB what we created. So what we'll do is we'll connect to, either you can connect to node 1 and node 2. Yeah, we are connected to node 1. So if you see fdisk -l, we need to be very clear which is our 12 GB and which is our 100 GB. Yeah, so this is our 12 GB. So what you do, you say fdisk fdisk and divest, because we need to just format it. Right, so we need to format it. How do you do that? You just say new primary 1 1 1, write it. Similarly, we need to identify what is our second disk, which is 100 GB. Yeah, STD. Just say new primary 1 1 and write it. That's it. No need to format. We just have to partition it and just leave it, and later on we are going to create some disks over it. So I provided the steps. Yeah, the next step is we need to run this initialization command to load the ASM libraries. Yeah, that's the crime command. Yeah, if you run this command, it is showing whether it is configured or not. Right, so now what we are going to do, we are going to create disks very carefully. So our STC and STD, right? STD, this is STD. So let us put in an order, STC and STD. So what we'll do, we'll just create them. Done. So now what we are going to see, we are going to scan the disks and we are going to list the disks. Yeah, so and list the disks. Yeah, both the disks are visible. So we'll do the same steps on the node 2, means only that we don't need to again create and everything. We don't need to create because we have already created on the node 1. So we just have to go to node 2 and we'll go to node 2 and see whether we are able to see the disks. So if you're not able to see it, then what you do, you just say scan disks and list disks. So in both the nodes, in node 1 and node 2, you are able to see the disks. So also we'll also change a few things. First we'll go to grid, open the bash, the environment file. Yeah, just make it ASM. This is change the host name. Change this one. Go to next. Connect to Oracle. Change the host name. And also the SID also has to be changed. So we'll give dev as CDB. So it means that I need to even change the first node also. Yeah. So let's see if at all we did everything fine. Okay, we changed it. Yeah, so the next one is what we are going to do is we are going to see from node 1 and node 2 are able to communicate or not. So for that, what you do, ERP RAC 2, yes, I'm able to communicate. VIP, I'm able to, no, VIP cannot be communicated. The private can be communicated, yes. So both of them are able to communicate. So now we need to copy the software and all to this particular location. So for that, we'll go to this location. We don't have this location. So we'll create that location. And we need to copy the software. Permission denied. Yes. So let me copy the software. So let's copy the software. First we'll create the directory and we'll copy the grid software to this particular location. And we'll unzip them. So the unzip is completed. We have to install one package. So let me do that. We'll also copy this package to node 2. And we'll install this package. So in both the nodes we have installed the package on node 1 and node 2. All right, so we have to do the installation through VNC server. And in case if you want to, you did the installation and again you want to redo the installation, I provided the steps how to remove everything and redo it. You can always follow this. Okay, so yeah, Tiger VNC is installed, and if in case firewall is on, you can just disable this firewall. Just these are all added steps which are provided. So now we are all set. So now what we'll do is we'll connect as a grid user, and we'll do the steps. Before that, let me go out to the node 1. Right, okay, so what I'll do, we'll change the owner. Right, we'll change the owner, and we will put the steps here. We'll not forget anything. So the first thing is we need to set up the SSH. So for that, what we need to do is we need to connect as grid user, and we'll go to this location, right, and we'll run this. So let's see. It will take, first we need to set up the SSH. So you need to remember what is the grid password. It will ask you for the grid password. Yeah, the SSH steps are completed. Yeah, the next one is we need to run the the run clue5 utility. Before doing that, we need to run on both the nodes this particular step. So what we'll do, we will run on the node and also on the node 1. Right now we'll come to grid and run the clue5 utility. So this will take for a while. We'll just wait for it to complete. So after the clue5, couple of things have failed, like for example swap space and all. So I provided the steps in my document, like how to create the swap, but also the swap is already created. You just have to activate it. How you can do, I just provided a swap.txt file. The people are using my thing. Yeah, so it will be ready. Similarly, you have to go to the node 2, and you can run this. So yeah, if you see that all the components are installed, all are passed, and except at the end there are few failures, which is okay. This is because of a result.config file. We are using the the scanf. That is the reason why it is failed, and also we are not using NTP. That's why it is failed, which is okay. So that should not hinder our installation. So with this, we'll just stop the session here, and we'll proceed with installation in the next document. Thank you. Hi everyone, this is Kishore from appsdba.info. In the previous session, what we ran is clue5 and fixed all the issues whatever which are shown by run clue5, like for example swap space and all that issues. So now we're all set, pretty excited that we are going to start the installation of the grid 19C. So for that, I'm connected to the VNC and say exhaust plus, and I say connect to Oracle grid, export display is equal to :1, and go to the software location, and you run the not run clue5 grid setup. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll run the grid setup thing, and let it see what it's going to happen. So we now it's opening this. So the first one is we'll try to configure the grid infrastructure on the new cluster. Click next, and configure an Oracle standalone cluster. Here we will change the based on our entries. Based on our entries, let me connect to node 1 and say cat etc host file. Whatever is your scan ERP, we'll give the same name and say next. And next one is where we need to add the nodes, because we have here in our case we have the 2 nodes, so we'll add the 2 nodes. This is the first entry. So we'll just say add node and copy and paste it and say 2 and say 2 and whip and say OK and say next. So this is getting installed. Yeah, it is also going to configure whether the SSH equivalency is available in both the nodes, because it has to install the software on both the nodes. So what you do, the first one let it be public and the second one will be ASM and private. Say next. Yeah, we are going to use the ASM for storage. So just take the default. Yeah, here see by default the storage, both of the storages are not visible. For that, what we need to do is we need to search for them. So just come down and search for it. Yes, you just have to search for this so that both the disks are visible. Yes, see, now you are able to see them. So select the second one and we'll change it to OCR and make it external. Let me compare with my screenshots. Yes, OCR, and yeah, so we are fine. So select the second disk which is having 12 GB. The next one we have to create, we'll create the further data. So now what you do is go for next. Here enter the password. Here you enter the sys password. So I think the screenshot is not captured, so why not I put my screenshot. Right, I told click next. So now you click next, take the defaults and just let me compare. Okay, this is ASM DBA, so we'll select ASM DBA. What is OAS DBA for ASM and OAS Zebra for ASM group are same in the same group. Okay, do you want to continue? So if the screenshot is not captured, why not we capture? So here what you do, you just say continue, because I didn't had any issues with the installations. Go continue with the next. Okay, so here we are getting unable to create the folder. So why not I take this and go to node 1 and create it. Similarly in the node 1 and the node 2, and let us see if at all I can continue. Okay, so we may have to change the permissions also. So just go here. So change owner, or so what you say, you say grid and into install grid base, and similarly connect to ERP RAC 2 DBA to so here also what you do, you just change the permissions, and now you can proceed. Say yeah, okay, here if you want to run you know the root password, so you can use this and set the next. So now it's going to validate, so this will take for a while, so why not I mute the session. So you get this screenshot because we don't have entries in the result.config file, which is okay. These are all we can just ignore it, and we can continue with the installation. We'll just do the installation. So this will take a pretty long time, so just let's wait for it to complete. So I'll just pause the session. Well, the installation is completed and you get this error, which is okay because we have some issues with the result.config file. You can just say okay, and you can say next, and hi everyone. In the previous session we have installed the grid infrastructure. In this chapter we will just see whether the scans are created and all the status we will see. So first we'll verify whether scan is running or not. See, if you see that scan is running. So let us go to ERP RMAN, and also see, if you see that there are 2 scans here and 1 scan here, totally 3 scans are running. So like that you can verify the scan verbose, and we can verify the status. This is a really good command which will tell you. Okay, for that you need to run the grid environment file. Yeah, you are able to see the status. You can use ASM CMD and commands like lsldg, so you can see that what is the free space available. So those type of things we can always use in the being a grid user. So then I know how many nodes. I want to verify the status of the CRS status, so I can run like this. OLS nodes minus n will tell us how many nodes are available, and we can check the status of ASM. Right, we can check this is the status of node 1 and node 2, both are running, right? And you can verify the OCR check, right? Voting disk we will verify, and also the cluster. Yeah, voting disk, one voting disk we have here, and also the cluster thing. So we have the cluster status on node 1 and node 2. So also I provided the start and stop commands. On the node 1 you can use this particular command to stop all the services as a root user. Okay, just let me mention. As a root user we need to run this, so let me put it red. So on the node 1 you can run this, on the node 2 you can run this. It will stop all the services, and if you want to start the services I provided the commands. And yeah, status, you can create a file called status and you as a root user, and you can always run this. Let me show you that. You need to connect as root. So copy all this content, and now at any point of time you can run like this, to verify whether everything is online, offline. If something, any issue is there, you can start them. So that's about this particular session. So hope you enjoyed the session. So I'll catch up with another interest topic in the next session. Thank you for watching. Hi everyone, in the previous session what we did is we created a disk group. In the current session what we do is we'll create a disk group for the data. So what I do is I go here and run the grid environment file and say smca and run in the background. Oh, we are getting this Oracle home grid is not found in the inventory. Just let me recheck. For that error, the solution is go to this particular location and change it to the correct location. See, our correct location is this one, so I just update it, and now I'm able to run it. So here what you do, you go and say we wanted to create a disk group. So first click here, already you'll have one disk group. So now what we'll do, we'll just create a new disk group, and the new disk group name is data. So select the disk group and select external. Right, and you select external, and you say advanced option, everything looks good. Just say sector size, we will select 4K and just say OK. Okay, don't select the, so let me copy this particular screenshot. Yeah, so it is completed now. So both the disk groups are created. So let's take the screenshot, up to date screenshot, and paste it here. All right, so now that's about this particular session. So we have just verified our installation, and also we created a new disk group. In the next session what we are going to do is we are going to upgrade our grid home from 19.3 to 19.12. So thank you for watching. Hi everyone. So in the previous session we have installed the Oracle grid in the 2 node. In this session we are going to upgrade our grid home from 19.3 to 19.12. We have only one patch which needs to be applied. So what first we need to update the O patch version to the latest one, and then we need to apply the patches. So what you do, first you unzip this particular patch anywhere and change the owner to grid owner, and also we will change the so we'll move the O patch, the current O patch version to old. So we'll move the O patch to old, and now what we'll do, we'll go to we'll copy and we'll unzip this particular O patch and change the owner also. Right, so now you can verify we can verify the O patch version. Right, so this is the latest version. So I have already downloaded the patch to the location and also changed the Okay, so maybe I have not changed the owner. Right, yeah, good. So before, yeah, so we are at the right place. So we have done and we are given the permissions, and if any inventory we didn't, okay, so what we'll do is we will verify the prereqs will run the pre-check on all the 4 okay, so maybe we are not at run the grid home, right? So it is going to do a pre-check for all the 4 patches. All right, so now what we'll do is, so we will apply the patch. So first we'll do the analysis by running this command. So actually we need to run as a root user, so I'll just close it and we'll run as a root user. Yes, yeah, anything, any O patch, auto patch, it has to be run as a root user. So first we do the analysis and then we apply the patch. Okay, so how do we apply the patch? We export Oracle Home and then we apply the patch. So let me pause the session. So the analysis is completed. So now we will apply the patch. So this will take a pretty good long time. So we'll wait for it to get completed. So we'll continue the session once the upgrade from 19.3 to 19.12 is completed. Well, the patch has been applied. So one thing observation is it will hang at this particular point for a very long time. So what you need to do is, after once it come to this, like, for example, it has told that the patch has been applied, then if it is hanging for a very long time, you can verify from the backend and you can restart it. There are a couple of ways how you can verify. You can also go through this particular thread for any issues if you have faced. Right, so you'll get this release patches 19.12, and you can also log in as right, see, you're able to log in as 19.12. so this like this, there are a couple of ways how you can verify whether the whether the upgrade is completed or not from 19.3 to 19.12. So what you need to do is, we need to repeat the same thing, same steps on node 2 also. I have already completed it. So in both my nodes, if you see, right, see, if you see, I'm already in 19.12. So with this we have completed the installation. And so in this chapter, in this session, what we did is we upgraded from 19.3 to 19.12 by applying only one patch, but following all the steps. So we'll catch up with the next topic in the next session. Thank you for watching. Hi everyone. In the previous session, what we did is we installed grid infrastructure and upgraded from 19.3 to 19.12. In this session, what we'll do is we'll install the Oracle RAC database software. So for that, what we need to do is first of all we need to copy the software. So how you copy? First you create a folder. First you create a directory and copy this particular folder and you unzip it. So after that, what we do is we will set up the SSH equivalence in both the nodes. Yeah, the user equivalency has been completed. So now we are ready to run the installation. So how you do is we connect to VNC and connect as Oracle user and go to that particular folder and we do a installation. Okay, so if you get this, then what you do is say export display is equal to :1 and do the installation. We will initially do the software installation. So from here, what you do, we'll select the software only. I'll say next, RAC, both on node 1 and node 2. Yeah, enterprise edition. So we will install here. Yeah, enter the groups, and here I have selected to install. We'll click next. Will automatically run the scripts as I know the root password. So it is validating. So you will get this particular screen. We can ignore as we don't have entries in the resolve.config file. Just say ignore and continue with the installation. So we'll catch up after the installation is completed. The installation of 19C is completed, the software. In the next step, what we'll do is we'll upgrade from 19.3 to 19.12. So let's catch up in the next session. Hi everyone, in the previous session what we did is we have installed 19.3. In this session what we are going to do is we are going to upgrade from 19.3 to 19.12. So what we need to do is first we need to update the OPatch version. First we need to update the OPatch version to the latest one, which I have did it. This is on the Oracle home, and in order to upgrade, in order to upgrade from 19.3 to 19.12, Oracle has provided a patch. It is 329.04851. So that one we need to apply. So for that, what we do, so you go to U01 and 329, and first you update the O patch, and after that you just have to apply this particular patch by running this particular command. So this will take for a while, and I just have to update. After this, as per Oracle, there are two more patches what we need to as per Oracle, there are two more patches what we need to apply. If you go through this particular note ID, and that two patches also we have to apply. So simultaneously both of the patches can be applied on both node 1 and node 2. So we'll wait for some time for this to get applied, and then we can come back. So the patches are being applied, and once the patches are applied on both the nodes, you can verify whether they're really applied, and also you can connect and you can verify it is 19.12. So I did the same thing. Yeah, I did the same thing and I verified it. So I'm able to see that 19.12 on both the nodes. So with this we are done with the upgrade from 19.3 to 19.12, both on the grid and also on the RDBMS. We'll continue with the next session in the next topic with one more another interesting topic. So until then, have a nice time. Hi everyone. In the previous session, we have upgraded our Oracle RAC RDBA software from 19.3 to 19.12. In this session, we'll create a database. So for that, what you need to run the environment file and run this dbca command. So we'll create the database. We'll say next. We'll take RAC. Since we have two nodes, so here we need to select a RAC 1 and RAC 2. We'll just capture this particular screenshot and just update our existing screenshot to make it look more accurate. So what we can do, we can create a database with the CDB and one pluggable database name as PDB. So here we'll give the name as CDB, and we'll create one pluggable database by name PDB. Yeah, so that should be fine. Just we want to practice it. Just let me see if it's matching with the screenshots, and we'll say next. Next. So here no, we don't need so much of memory. We'll just go by the thing. If you want to change the character set or sizing or anything, if you want to have some sample schemas, you can make the changes accordingly, and we'll start the installation. If you want to run the we'll run the Clufa utility, and also if you want to run the enterprise manager, you just select, say next, and give the password. And begin the installation. So let's continue once this particular installation is completed. Once the installation is completed, we can verify verify with the whether grid is up or not. Like you can connect as ASM. Yeah, it looks good. And also you can use ASM CMD, and you can run LSDG. So if you want to go to a specific disk group, you can go like this. So here is our container database, the database what we created. Let us capture this screenshot. And also we have srvctl command, so by which we can verify the status. Once you run this command, you can get the status of the instances. I also created the start and stop scripts for the rack. On the node 1, you can use these below commands to stop all the cluster services on node 1. So this will stop all the services on node 1 and node 2, but on node 2 we just have to stop the high availability services. HAS means high availability services. So on the node 1, as a root user, you can run this command. On the node 2, you can run this particular commands. In order to start, I provided the steps, and similarly how to that. So here also I provided how to import. Suppose somebody has given you OVA file, like for example I give an OVA file, how to import the appliances, how to import the appliances. There are a couple of issues and problems what I faced, so that I have updated in this particular documented. Few references what I verified. We'll also see the status, right? So even we can see the status. Yeah, here we have couple of things which I can show you. Right, this is a good command, and when you run this as a grid user, so it will show you the status of all of them. And then also you can verify the status of your cluster. Right, it is up. OLS nodes, OLS nodes.en, how many nodes are there, and ASM status. Right, ASM is running on node 1 and node 2. Yeah, this is node 1 and this is node 2. So OCR check we can verify. These are all the regular commands what we normally verify. And also the voting disk status, and the cluster status. Right, on the cluster status on both the node 1 and node 2. This is node 1 and node 2. Right, so also, yeah, as I mentioned, we also have the start stop commands. So with this we are done with the session installation. So try at your home, and just unless you put a hands on, you cannot succeed. So for this we don't need any shared storage. We can just need Oracle VM and use the shared storage concept which is available in Oracle VM for this complete installation. Just if you go through the complete installation steps, we have used 2 VMs, so you can have a Windows host or a Linux host. In my case, I have a Linux host, and I created 2 VMs, one with 9 GB RAM and one with 9 GB, another with also with 9 GB RAM. And you need to download. You can only get 19.3, but in this we have seen how to install 19.3 and then how to upgrade the grid from 19.3 to 19.12 for both the grid and also for the database. I provided the steps. We are going to use the Oracle VM. So, and I have provided the installation of Linux. It is good if you try once, but otherwise I have used a OVA file which has all the packages. So there are a couple of preparation steps. If you want to change the host name, you can change. And so we are not using the scan which is there on the DNS, but we are just making entries, 3 entries in our local etc host file, which should be enough for you for your practice purpose. In the real time, however, your organization is going to provide the the scan name and which you are going to use it. So in the real time, if you ping the scan, every time it will rotate. First time it goes here, second time it goes here, third time it goes here. I'm not sure whether it you let me see. ns lookup. No, yeah, because we don't have entries in the result.config file. We can see the scan is running or not by running this command, right? So this is the scan, right? But only that we cannot use NLS look. In the real time we use that NLS look, and every time you run this command, it goes from one to second one to third one, for basically doing the load balancing for you. So you install all the packages required, and also you need to download this particular library file. We have disabled NTP, so we are going to go with the Oracle CSS cluster time synchronization service. So make all these changes, and we need to install the Oracle ASM library files. And first we will install the grid installation. We also create the groups, disk groups, and which we make shareable on both node 1 and node 2. First we install the grid, and we upgrade the grid from 19.3 to 19.12. Then we install the database, and we upgrade from 19.3 to 19.12. And after that we create a database. We create a database, a container database with one pluggable database, which you can use for your testing purposes. So with this, we are done with this particular installation, and if you have any queries, you can always let me know. So hope you enjoyed this session. We'll catch up with another interesting topic in the next session.